Hello and welcome to India Ideas, a show which is all about science and technology, innovation and entrepreneurship. I'm Gautam Roy. Today we're showcasing two innovative tools or platforms which serve very different purposes. One helps local governments visualize the disaster risk profile of different geographical locations, pooling data from multiple sources so they can plan their rescue and relief efforts better in case of any sort of hazard like floods, earthquakes, avalanches and landslides and much more. The other promises financial freedom to employees and escape from the clutches of predatory financial products like payday loans by delivering earned wages before payday instantly. But before we get to them, here's India Ideas this week. Prime Minister Narendra Modi lauds India's startup ecosystem for achieving the 100 Unicorns milestone during his monthly radio program, Mann Ki Baat on All India Radio. The PM adds that India's unicorns have a faster average growth rate compared to the likes of the US, UK and others. 14 Indian startups turn into unicorns from the 1st of January to the 1st of June this year. A report by market intelligence provider Traction says the corresponding number last year was 13, when 2021 turned out to be the best year yet for Indian startups turning into enterprises valued over $1 billion or more. 44 became unicorns last year compared to only 11 in 2020. India holds its biggest drone festival, Bharat Drone Mahotsav, over 2 days on the 27th and 28th of May with over 1,600 delegates and 70 plus use case demos. Prime Minister Modi inaugurates the event, tries his hand at flying a drone. The Department of Posts for the first time delivers mail using a drone as part of a pilot project in Gujarat's Kutch district, covering a distance of 46 kilometers in just 25 minutes. FICCI leads, a business incubator of FICCI and the Dubai International Financial Center or DIFC, ink an MOU to launch the India-UAE Startup Corridor. The initiative will help grow the startup ecosystem of India and the UAE. 50 startups from India and UAE will be selected over a period of 5 years for promotion and nurturing with an aim to grow a minimum of 10 startups into unicorns by 2025. And Mark Zuckerberg's Meta partners with Bani Kola's VC fund Kalari Capital to help Indian businesses scale via business skilling support. The association is part of Meta's VC Brand Incubator initiative for the development of micro, small and medium businesses in India. So that was India Ideas this week, and time now to get to our showcase for the day, which is all about visualizing risk in any sort of a hazard or disaster in multiple geographical locations using a tech tool called VisRisk. Well, VisRisk is it's an interactive tool really for communicating a complete disaster, that is a picture for disaster risk or disaster risk reduction and management through creative visualizations using a storytelling approach. It aims to promote a data-driven decision making when it comes to planning and even when disaster mitigation or resilience measures have to be put in place. Now, it's an initiative of the Nepal government which is being integrated with the National Disaster Information Management System of Nepal, which is the BIPAD portal, which is led by National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Authority, that is the NDRRMA of Nepal. VisRisk helps local governments visualize the complete risk scenario related to multi-hazards such as earthquakes, landslides, floods, etc. in any geographical location to enable the development of resilience. And joining us now to talk about it is Youth Innovation Lab's Executive Director Pradeep Khatiwala from Nepal. Good evening to you, Pradeep. Hope you're well now. Your non-profit organization has supported the government of Nepal in developing VisRisk. What kind of efforts have really gone into it, and what exactly has been created?
Thank you, Gautam, for having me on this amazing platform. So at Youth Innovation Lab, we say we're on the mission to bring science to people and policy through innovation. So what we do is we basically develop technical tools that are like easy to access or to make lives of people's easy. So we started working with government of Nepal from late 2018 with the development of this Government of Nepal's integrated disaster information management system. The Visualising platform, which is an interactive tool that visualizes disaster related information through a simple yet interactive tool, like you can see on the dashboard as well, using the maps, chart, infographics, and narrative storytelling format. So which helps stakeholders working in disaster risk reduction and management to make a better understanding of those data sets. And the main idea of Visualising is to make disaster and risk data sets easy to understand to people as well. So the efforts we have made were stakeholder collaborations. So this requires data collections, a wide range of team efforts. So we have to bring all these stakeholders together, and a collection of household level data sets, including the critical infrastructures like hospital data sets, education data sets, and so on. The second thing was the conceptualization. So that requires research and development. So both tech as well as non-tech research team were put into efforts to conceptualize this new innovation. And the third one is the implementation, where we have equipped young engineers and placed them at the municipality level so that they can transfer this technical capacity to the local governments who are supposed to work in everyday basis.
Right. Now, can it help local governments in all kinds of disaster scenarios, and even when it comes to planning disaster mitigation or disaster resilience measures?
Definitely. So we all know Nepal is a home of all these kind of disasters. The Disaster Reduction Act of Nepal has identified around 42 disasters hazards in Nepal. So due to its geography, every year many sort of disaster events takes place in Nepal. They are seasonal as well as other kind of disasters as well. So therefore, to address the nature of different kind of disasters in Nepal, this Visualising platform is developed focusing on single hazard. As you were also mentioning earlier, the multiple hazard also it can feature. So whether you can focus on particularly a flood prone area like flood hazard, or landslide prone area like landslide hazard, or combination of both or multiple. So this platform is solely, when I say municipal authority, then these are the local level, very powerful institutions. So who are supposed to work with the local people, and the Government of Nepal's efforts recently has been identifying the risks at the household level. So what we have done is that they have developed this risk assessment framework with the help of federal as well as local governments. So through which they have developed this framework which helps to identify the hazard, vulnerability, exposure, and adaptive capacity of household levels, so that we can prioritize, identifying the most vulnerable household or most exposed household, so that they can put their effort in short term, mid term, and long term, and not going through this blanket approach, identifying those people who actually needs help right there and there, and this visualization helps to achieve their goals.
Okay. Now, can Visualising be adopted for any sort of geographical location, if anywhere in the world really? Basically, can it be replicated for use in any part of the world?
Absolutely. That's why we were in GPDRR and also using this platform as well. This is totally ready, and we also wanted to give this message that this tool is ready and can be adopted in any disaster situations or the country context as well. So this technology is developed using a open source platform, and also using some of the standard formats like the iconography of UN OCHA, and using different scenarios, hazard scenarios as well. So further, what we have also done is they documented all these things, and made them available in platforms like UNDRR's Prevention Web, also website visualized on our website as well. So these things can be easily adapted, and also anybody can understand this process of development. And also we are excited to actually partner to create this innovation lab, where we want to transfer this technical capacity to local youth of any country or region, through which we want to capacitate those people so that they can work with the local governments, and they can actually solve these kind of issues locally.
Okay. And what kind of technologies have gone into putting Visualising together?
So when you see Visualising, so particularly these are this actually uses a lot of maps. So why we are using maps is to give that accuracy of information, and we also use open source platform like OpenStateMap. So basically, you don't have to pay for these kind of information or map use. So also what we have used is on the development of the map is that like you can include the kind of informations that actually resonate that particular place, like the weather information, the other population information, and anything you can put on that on top of hazard, exposure, vulnerability, and adaptive capacity and risk information. So the system is developed in such a way that the local administrations with their super admin access can actually use these data sets, and they can make any changes relevant to their local authority. And also if they have like further institutions, like we have WAD in Nepal, so means if they can also give other authorities or permission matrix to local authorities as well, for the local authorities or the departments.
Right.
So on top of that, what we have also used is we have followed the EU's General Data Protection Regulation compliance.
Okay.
This system will ensure that like this data and the personal informations are secured on this platform.
Right. Now, what were the main challenges in putting together something like WizRisk?
Well, disaster risk communication is a huge challenge. This is such a huge challenge that everybody is struggling and trying to innovate on this domain for a long time. And this wasn't an easy task because there was not so much adequate research or study done in this particular field, especially using these map tools, like openly available map tools or something like that. So, and the other one was, like having these data sets, the huge amount of data sets on this portal alone. So in this tool, which we are showcasing right now, is of Ratnanagar municipality. So where we have collected data sets of household level data sets of nearly 18,398 households, means that requires 15 to 20 minutes of time to actually capture one data set of a household. And also it includes more than that, like you have to entirely map all those places using a drone map or having a high quality satellite imagery and going into that precise information as well. So after you develop this platform, now the question is, even you make a simple tool like WizRisk, you have to communicate that. You have to give that technology to the local authorities where there is a limited resources and capacity to actually handle these sort of data sets. So capacity transfer, technical training after that is also one of the challenges, I would say.
Okay. Now, I understand that WizRisk is being integrated into the BiPAD portal. Now, when and where are we likely to see it in action so that we have a proper working proof of concept? And I believe it was launched at the GPDRR in Bali, Indonesia, just a little over a week back. And what was the response over there?
So our team is already working with the local government. So we had this local election recently in Nepal. So the new mayor is in place. So we are having joint consultations in terms of like how the newly elected representative, we can take this as a priority, and this has already been taken forward. So that is one good news. And the second is that since this is already launched and we are just back to Nepal, so this actually requires some level of like server coordination with the government. System actually runs from the government server. So we'll push this to the government server, and probably in a week or so this will be live to the access to everyone.
Okay, all the best then, and thank you for joining us, Pradeep, to talk about WizRisk.
Thank you.
All right, and now it's time to talk about a fintech enterprise which has come to India from the US. It's an attempt to grant employees early access to their salaries so that they can have financial freedom and better control over their income, expenditure, apart from their investments as well, and also trying to disrupt predatory products like payday loans. Okay, now we all want financial freedom where we can have access to our earned pay as and when we need it, and not just wait till the end of the month till payday and keep our purchases or investment decisions on hold.
Earned salary.
Rain promises to do that for working professionals and employers without the hassle of any fees or EMIs, improving employee productivity for companies and giving on-demand access to earned pay for employees. It started out in the US and now it has been in India as well to take that journey forward, and we're trying to find out today as to how that journey is going. And joining us now to talk all about RAIN is India CEO Akbar Khan. Good evening to you, Akbar. Just tell us in terms of how has the journey been so far in India where RAIN is concerned. I believe it was launched in late 2020 or early 2021.
That's right. So firstly, Gautam, thank you for having me on this show. Pleasure to be here. You're absolutely right. We entered the Indian market in January 2020, January 2021, late 2020. And the success of the product has been tremendous. And I put it to a couple of reasons. One is clearly the product market fit for the Indian market, for the ability to provide employees who've actually earned their salary. Why go to other sort of financial solutions where you're paying predatory prices?
Right.
Rather, access your own funds when you actually need it. So this has really been able to sort of catapult the ability for these to access their earned salary.
Okay. Tell us about RAIN's global footprint as well. Some would say that its entry into India has been a little belated. Why wasn't the service launched in India earlier?
So on that point, we launched RAIN US in early 2020. So India is actually the first market outside the US we've come into. So from that perspective, if you look at our strategic roadmap, India is really a high priority market, and we actually have entered there as soon as we were able to actually develop the product for the Indian market. So taking a global product and localizing it for the Indians, clearly we've done that for India, and we're ready, market ready for the last year, so to speak.
Okay. Now I understand RAIN has several big ticket clients in the US like McDonald's as well as Taco Bell. In India it's Quest. But in terms of an addressable market, it seems that barely the surface has been scratched.
Yes, you're absolutely right on that. The market is large in India. Clearly, as I talked about it earlier, the market fit for the product is tremendous, and the other aspect, Indian infrastructure around technology and payments is probably the best in the world. So clearly, all those factors significantly are contributing to our focus on India and why we believe this solution will be a tremendous success in the Indian market.
Okay, now India has got both an organized and a large unorganized sector where salary or wage payments are not done in a formal trackable mode as well. Now, is there some way for RAIN to help employees of such businesses as well?
Absolutely. So the big way that RAIN works, so the basis of us being able to provide these solutions is really two things. One is really to be able to validate that his or her own salary is employed, and the other aspect is really validation of the income. Both these factors obviously are easier when a person is in the formal economy and gets paid.
Oh, we seem to be having a bit of a trouble with that link with Akbar. We'll try and fix that. But clearly, RAIN, which is an early wage access platform. Akbar, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Sorry, there's a bit of a delay. But
yes. You also say that one of the key objectives is to disrupt predatory, basically lenders, their financial products like payday loans. How are you planning to expand your reach to employees or low wage earners who may take such payday loans during tough times like the pandemic phase, and even now when the entire world is facing inflationary challenges?
Yes. So
we seem to be having a bit of a trouble again with that link with Akbar, and I don't think we're able to fix it at the moment. So I'll have to thank Akbar at this stage, and
the one aspect is around making.
we still seem to be having a bit of an issue with that link, but we'll try and reconnect and take this up later on. Thank you so much for joining us, Akbar, for the time being, and that's all we have for the moment as far as India Idea is concerned for this week, but do join us next week as well, same time and same day, for more on the startup ecosystem that India is developing, the third largest in the world.